the last ever Sunday Night Pathfinder recap. Ever. Yeah. Ever for now. Well, I mean, come on. The overlay will change. We need a new overlay. So it's not going to be Pathfinder recap anymore. But yeah, this is it. We had our final session 2 Sundays ago. And oh my goodness. Divine Paradox to the follow. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support, man. Yeah, so we had our last finale. Our finale. It was I still me and Tay can't talk about it. You know that? Like
Why?
like me and Tay, we can't. We literally just can't talk about it. We were like, "Oh yeah, how about that?" Like he was trying while I was streaming a couple days ago, and we just ended up not being able to talk about it. It's just sunk in what happened.
Yeah.
And it was
a lot.
It was something else. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So,
without further ado, let's pick up where we left off.
Okay.
Where we left off was
we are standing in the empty chamber of the pyramid. So we had trudged through all of the undead, where we fooled them. They think we're dead too, so they didn't charge us.
got
so
him.
now, yeah, got him. So now we're in the empty chamber of the pyramid. There are arcane runes on the door. Which
this was after the snake people fight, right? Yeah, we just finished.
The snake people, right? Yeah. So there were snake
kicking
people.
ass.
We fought them.
Yeah.
And we won because they suck. So yeah, there's an empty chamber. There are arcane runes on the door. Grim notices that it's some sort of seal. So he goes to touch it, and then Rokor's like, "I'm gonna touch it too." And then Kira and Wes are like, "We're gonna touch it too."
Yeah.
So,
well, okay, a little bit more poetic, cause Jeff was I go over. Grim goes over to touch it, but then what is it? Rokor. No, Rokor make moves to help me push this door open, right? And I look at him and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I look over to both you and wow, names are hard. Kira and Wes. And because I don't understand what the magic is and I don't know what it's gonna do, I ask you three together, and so all 4 of us push on the door, and my hand hits the door first, and it basically light burst and starts expanding from where I touch the door, making the ruins all light up and glow. But then it stops after a certain point. Then Rokar's hands soon touches the door. Same thing, a light. The ruins start lighting up and spreading out and illuminating the rest of the door, and mixes in with what's already illuminated from Grim, and the door basically one after the other, and then the whole door is basically a light in runes, in arcane runes.
Right. So then it illuminates. There's like a circular block of steel on the door, and that illuminates, and the door opens, and it leads us to a golden hall with marble floors. It's very, very ornate. There's a lot of fancy shit in there. Each wall is lined in gold framed mirrors, and they're oval and like about the height of a man, about a meter wide. And
so it's just it's literally just a long hallway of mirrors.
Yeah.
That's it.
So Rokor goes up and he looks into a mirror and he sees a jungle. And and it's got a bunch of Alakir warriors. He doesn't see his reflection. He just sees a jungle with Alakir warriors, and they're ambushing the undead in this jungle, um, which then they vanquish the undead. He leaves this mirror and goes to another mirror, and the mirror he was just looking at, the scenery changes in that one, so it goes from the jungle to something else. He said like Mazerat or something.
Yeah, just an issue in Marzard. Grim.
Yeah.
Rokor. Tries to find the edge of the mirror because he wants to, lift it off or like take it off the hinges, but it's actually embedded in the stone wall. And so Grim, seeing this, looking over Rokor's shoulder, goes to another mirror, across the hall, and looks into it. And he touches the glass, and it feels like glass, but it looks as if where he touched it starts rippling like water, but it feels like glass. It is glass. And his hand doesn't go through or anything. But basically a scene pops up to him, and he sees Rhea. He sees Rhea in the thick of battle. He can only guess that it's the battle that's happening outside or on the other side of the impasse. And as he watches, he sees her and her sergeant in the midst of undead. A sword comes in and basically hits her right on the shoulder, wounding her pretty much. And he continues to watch, and he sees her sergeant trying to basically pull her out of the front lines, back. And Grim, not able to stand watching anymore, storms off past the entire group and says, we do not have much time to waste. And
right. So as we're walking, we're following Grim down the hallway. Grim is the only one who hears an extra set of footsteps. So
that's impressive.
That's super impressive.
That's actually impressive.
So he can hear all of the footsteps and like distinguish which ones belong to which people. And then he hears the extra set, and he's like, that set does not belong to our group. That's a seventh. There were 6 of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Rokor, Wes, Kira, Grim, Thomas, Gwen.
Polaris.
Oh yeah, Polaris.
There's an
yeah, the pad. Yeah, it's an eighth step. Yep.
Yeah. So he's like, "Well, who's that?" And
it sounded like a well-made, tailored shoes.
Well tailored shoes. So he stops and holds his hand out to make everybody else stop, and the extra footsteps keep going, and they walk through all of us. Like, that's creepy. The dude walks through us, and it turns out to be the curator. So he says, "Hello. It seems it is the last time we meet, my friends."
And if you guys don't remember who the curator was, it was basically that holographic/not holographic image of Zetaxes that we met in the 2 previous temples, the past and the future.
Right. So then Wes asks who he's rooting for in the battle, and he says, "Well, I'm rooting for life, which I guess is you by extension. I'm not rooting for myself because I suck."
Go me. Kill yeah. Everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, in fact, the final temple. It's the last phylactery at the end of the line. And this is where destiny unfolds. He wanted it to be grand, which is why it looks so grand.
Yeah. Because I think Grim did ask why this temple looks so different than the previous 2. The past being it was kind of in ruins. The future being very just dark and it was underneath a Druger mining whatever. Anyway, and then this one is just literally it was very palace-y like.
Yeah, and it was the last the last
You loyal.
temple that he built before becoming Zataxis?
It was the first one. This
Oh,
was
the
the
first
first one. Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you so much for the follow, Loyal. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great time in chat. Yeah.
So yes,
he does. It also does add. Sorry. That it
okay.
was. It would be the like he can't provide us with much help on this one, and that this one is going to be a tougher like a tougher challenge than the other phylacteries, because he says that Zataxis has already completed his plan or set his plan in motion, or I don't know his wording, but Zataxis had already started the show.
Yeah, he says the final act of Zataxis is in motion.
Yeah, that's it.
And it requires a sacrifice to stop it, but he doesn't say what or who or how.
Yeah.
But he does say that know that life will always trump death. So yes.
Yep. So he leads us to the end of the hallway, the end of the very long hallway, and we step through the door into an icy landscape. Nothing like what the Undying Lands were. It definitely seems like we've traveled. We've teleported elsewhere. And before leaving, the curator gives us a final warning. Says that this is the last time we'll ever see him. Yada yada. And Grimm says, maybe in another time we could have been friends. And and he walks through with it. So the party starts trudging through this frozen waste, and it's very apparent on where they're going, because off in the distance there is a column of green light shooting up into the sky, similar to Thomas's staff when we first saw him.
And long time ago, when we first encountered the Eye of Ashes, the orb, Sai / Calcifer had the vision that looked exactly like this.
Yeah, there's a glowing sphere in the air with lots of light shooting up, and as they walk, Grimm is trying to figure out where they are. If this is another pocket dimension like the hallway, or if this is actually in the continent or in the world that they're in. I still don't know what we call it. I don't think we ever came up with. We never asked. Okay.
The Pathfinder.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But he does find out that that we're in the North Pole.
Yep. We're off to meet Santa.
Yeah. Zataxis is Santa. No.
And he offers free souffles.
Yeah. For all the kids who have been bad, get a souffle.
Get a souffle. Yep.
So Zataxis is there next to the orb. He's infusing.
No. We enter
an ice coliseum.
Ice Coliseum.
Yes. And there's Zataxis
over an ice bridge. Come on, it's epic. It's an ice bridge with chains. It's an ice bridge with chains. It's so good. It's so good.
So now.
Yes.
Coliseum. Zataxis is there with an orb, infusing the blight and this like dark energy into the orb that seems to have remnants of like life and nature and nice things in it, and it's slowly being taken over by this darkness. And in front of him are a bunch of people that are also snakes. So there's a bunch of serpent folk, and then this big ugly asshole named Kurgal, who is a half-orc and also a vampire now. He's a vampire half-orc.
We just have bad juju history with the Kurgal guy, right? It's just,
he just
leave it at that. Yeah, no.
So there he is in all his ugliness, and we're like, fuck that guy. So
fuck that guy in particular.
Yeah. And now we fight them and we get rid of the serpent folk, but Kurgal takes Grim out, stabs him a few times. Then Wes shoots a couple arrows at him after we've softened him up a little bit.
Yeah, and he's dead.
And he parries a few, and the last arrow gets him right in the heart, and he dead.
He did. Yeah.
After like years of fighting this guy. So
I love how in the last fight, out of everyone, just one person, Grim's the one who gets knocked out unconscious. It just had it ended how it started. Grim just getting knocked the fuck out just because.
Yeah.
Because of reasons. Oh my god.
Anyway, so the orb now turns entirely black. Zataxis is up there. He floats over now that he's done that.
Things.
Yeah, he floats over and says, "Well, it seems I must do everything myself, no matter." And he starts fighting us. But then Wes finishes him off too.
It's a pretty legit fight. I'm not gonna lie. Like let's look going into detail about it. You did a fuck ton of damage. Mythic
chain lightning and the lightning.
That's fire now.
And the lightning snake or fire.
The fire.
Chain fire.
Chain fire. We changed that
fire
too.
Snake.
Rokor was just a beast and just charged him because why the fuck not?
Because Rokor.
Because Rokor. Wes and Gwen had sort of a rough time in that fight. He had like a projectile shield. So basically, if any projectile missed him, right? So if any projectile missed him, he could turn it around and then shoot it back at you. And you would have to roll against yourself, which is worse, right? It's like, it's not Jeff rolling against you. You have to roll against you. So if you're too good.
Yeah, but Wes had the feet.
Yeah.
So you could catch arrows and shoot them back. So it's just like.
Technically, we told them, you're just like, well, this is an easy solution. Just don't miss. Right, just don't miss, and then you're nothing. But he did have a little bit of a cushion. If he did miss, he hit himself, he could just catch it and throw it back again. And they basically played pass the arrow back and forth. Gwen, I think, shot herself once.
I think so. Yeah.
I think she shot herself once and was just like, fuck. Grim pulled out all the stops. There were some spells that I had and just never used because I was like waiting for it, and I just threw it all in there. So Rokor and Wes were doing work. They were rolling double D20s for hit chances.
Yeah,
so
they were.
That was
really good.
Yeah. But Wes finally finishes him off.
Yeah, so he finally punctures Zataxis, I think, right in his heart also.
What heart? Zataxis doesn't have a heart.
Is where the heart would be. So from the arrow hole and from his face, all of the orifices in his face starts like emitting this black smoke akin to his souffle.
Akin to his souffle, yeah.
And
souffle of death.
He lets out this blood-curdling wail, and our souls feel as though they're being pulled and wanting to be whisked away with this black smoke.
Actually, no, the correction, you're right, but Rokor is the only one. He basically implodes and Rokor is the only one in the vicinity. And he feels his spirit. And as we look at Rokor, because he was right up in Zataxi's face, everyone else was in range, right?
Right.
As we look at Rokor and Zataxi's implosion, we see like a shadow of Rokor, basically, is almost getting pushed out of him. But
Right.
through sheer willpower, Rokor hangs on to his soul, and it gets sucked back into him, and Zataxis explodes. There's this huge wave. There's strong howling wind, and we're basically leaning forward just to stay on our feet as literally every person Zataxis has killed, their soul escapes out of his body, and in this torrent of wind, we can barely hear each other through the noise of the wind, and the orb is still there. It's still black, and
So
without
Thomas,
another. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go for it.
You're on a roll though.
Oh.
Well, Thomas said, like, he says that the orb has been corrupted. Like, that's pretty plain to see. And
it used to not be black, and now it's black. Go figure.
So, Rokor then knows what needs to happen, and
without a word, we're still all there we're huddling against forcing this wind. We're still trying to figure out what to do. And without a word, Rokor presses into the wind, walking struggling towards this orb. And I don't know if you have it written down.
I freaking did. Are you kidding me?
Go.
So Rokor lifts his hands above his head with the sword, and he lets out this battle cry and brings his blade down on it, and as the sword hits, the stone cracks in two, and it's completely hollow
on the inside.
Yeah, and the wind dies down, and Rokor falls limp as his sword hits the stone, and he is super dead.
He's dead. Grim and Wes rush to Rokor. Grim searches the satchel for a resurrection scroll, tries it, nothing works, throws it away, gets the wish scroll from his satchel, tries it, nothing. And there are tears. Lots and lots of tears. Wes is crying. Grim is wailing. He does the whole pan out, the scream of agony and the pan zoom of camera. It's really sad. But Thomas, I think it was Thomas who said that there's still the fight that is happening in Khazad-dûm and they need to go. Grim is in no position to do anything. So with him, for Wes and him pick up Rokor's body, and I think you did. You teleported us out of there.
Yeah, so we teleported back to the battlefield, where we see our army trudging back to the command posts. We find that about 4,500 remain out of
10,000.
10,000?
Yep.
Yeah, 10,000. So that's a lot of casualties. Wes finds his father, who has unfortunately
died.
fallen. Yeah, he is dead. He's up against a barricade surrounded by his men. And numerous
with a shit ton of undead surrounding him. Like it was a valiant. It was a valiant last time.
Hobgoblin bodies.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last legion was decimated, so there are no more Kaldari people.
Soldiers. There's Kaldari people still in the
Right, yeah,
Redlands. Yeah.
right,
The
yeah.
Kaldari
So
are
the
extinct.
last-
That's it.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
just
so the last legion is gone. All the warriors are gone.
Yeah.
And as for Rhea, she finds Grim, so she's fine. She is injured, but she's okay. She does have that gash on her arm from when Grim saw her in the mirror.
To which, after all the hugging and crying, he goes to work on her personally.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Grim and Kira notice during the night that there is a new, very bright star in the sky. So they ask Thomas what's up with that.
What's up with that?
Yeah, what's up with that? So he explains to us the concept of world stones, and how there are stones that contain a world, like the one that the taxi was trying to corrupt.
Yep.
Which that was a world stone. So when Rokor destroyed said stone, the world inside
he
of
hatched
the stone
it. Was released.
He hatched it. It was released.
He hatched it. He was
space.
Mama Rokor.
Yeah.
Mama. He just Mama bird. Okay. Okay.
So,
yep.
Yeah. It was released into space, and now it is a world, and it's Wraithborn.
At least that's what we think of this. But yeah, he had the look of like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So which only like sidetracked a little bit. I wonder if we'll make cameos, or you and Wes make cameos, and Thomas make cameos in Wraithborn. I would just love it so much. Oh God. Anyway, moving on, because we still need. There's post. There's post stuff.
So we return to the fort. Kaldar no longer exists. The dwarves retake Kazadan.
In generations, though. It took generations.
It takes
years
Wes
for them.
Gets Tyleaf to plant the life tree with the ashes of his father, and he plants it in the Elder Grove.
Yeah, in the Elder Grove. So now Aladril has the life tree. That's pretty fucking dope, because nobody fucks with Aladril. I don't know.
And then Grim makes a masterpiece. His very first masterpiece
about Rokor. Which that's so fitting, because I've that wasn't the first time that I brought it up, and I was like, you know what? I don't have a masterpiece, and some of these masterpieces are like really good. And I was like looking through the book, and I'm like, look, I can make my own, and it's just like I can take any spell from like any spell book, right, and take it as a masterpiece. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to do that. But bam, there it is. His very first masterpiece is about is about Brokor. It's a battle song. Telling of Brokor's tale and what he is. I guess moving on.
Several
there's statues of you Wes erected everywhere. Yeah, whatever.
You get your Bard College.
I get my Bard. I have become the patron saint of music. And there are literally shrines to me in every town. Wes and Kira have their big statues, but on the corner street of the marketplace and whatnot, with the common folk, ours is little shrines to Grim. The party, I don't know who, but as the party goes through Rokor's effects, as he gets his grand burial and honor of heroes and stuff like that. He gets the highest honor. As they're going through Rokor's personal effects, I think it would probably be one of us, just because Wes doesn't have any perception. Oh no, you know what? It would probably be me, because I know blacksmithing. The pommel of his sword, is hollow, and there's a letter basically inside, detailing what Rokor wants to happen with his effects, and he says, have my armor, have my weapons be given to someone who is worthy. So Grimm takes it up on himself. He sets it up in the main Bardic College. Since he is still traveling around, the world, and if the day ever comes that he sees somebody with a potential, he will be given the test to don Rokor's armor and weapon, which is pretty awesome. Pretty fucking awesome. Yeah.
Said person can
lift. If said person can lift.
Yeah. Do you even lift?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, several months pass. Gwen and Thomas have disappeared, but they return once things have sort of settled and everything's gone back to semi-normal. The monk also comes with them, and they have a private audience with Kira and Wes and Grimm. So Thomas says that this world is safe for now. So we've proven ourselves worthy of protecting other worlds, and asks us again if we want to go with them to protect these other worlds. And Wes and Kira accept, but Grimm elects to stay.
Poetically declines
Because he doesn't want to leave Rhea, and he vows to protect this world while we are.
Yeah. And it basically says, that he talks to Kira, especially knowing her backstory of running away, wanting adventure, and he basically asked if she has had enough of it, and Kira says no.
He's like, no, I'm not done yet.
No. So
he also had to roll for pregnancy.
Yeah, that I'm surprised it worked out. Look at that. Yeah. So that she's not done with adventuring, and she loves this life, and she'll have Wes by her side, and yeah. Oh wait. Oh sorry. And then and so he says that to Wes and Kira, this will always be their home, and he'll keep their spot safe, or warm while they are away. So I guess you ask if you have to leave right away, and Thomas says, we don't know when. I cannot promise you when we will be back. So make sure everything's in order before we leave. And then he says, when you are ready, meet me in the ruins of Riverstone. Yeah, where we were. So
we say all of our goodbyes.
We have a last drink. Well, Kira and Wes have a last drink with Grimm at the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
And at this point, Grimm's memory's been wiped.
Not yet.
No?
When you leave. It's when you leave. When you
Right.
leave, yeah. Right. So did you write that down?
No, but I remember.
Okay.
So Wes gives Grimm his effects, basically. So his treasured bow and his arrows and his quiver, and he says, keep this safe, I'll be back for it. And then Kira gives Grimm her necklace with her polar bear on it, so that he remembers who she is when she
I basically have Wes's necklace with the arrows, and I have your necklace with a polar bear. And I believe I also have Rokor's, because he had one too. So basically I did the comrades. Yeah,
and you get a promotion.
Yes. And
so Grimm gets promoted to ruler because there's nobody else
of Fort Andrin. And it's it does make sense too, because Rhea is the daughter of Baron
Westlook,
not
yeah. So
Westlook,
yeah.
which is in Fort Andron, is within his borders. So just stuff happened. But yeah, it is technically still your lands, and I said I will keep them. I'll look after them for you. Again, don't forget that your home it will always be here. And yeah, no, and Grim has a very heartwarming farewell. He thanks the two for being great, just being so amazing. I can't do this right now. I can't. Okay. But he basically thanks them for thanks them for their friendship and always being there to support, because Grim really doesn't view much of himself, right? He's just to him he's just a bard, but and basically you guys once Kira and Wes leave, Grim goes about his business. He doesn't remember the exact reason why Kira and Wes are going away, but all he remembers is that they're going off on a journey. It's very important to them. He knows that it's important, and that's it. And he doesn't know when he'll be back, but that's okay. He's at peace. It's a very peaceful feeling of not knowing, right? It's just like, I remember they're off doing something. I'm not sure, but I know that it's a good thing that they're doing, right? It's like I know that they're doing good. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. You can go ahead.
Sorry, my parents were just trying to Skype me. Okay. Yes. So we go to Riverstone. Wes and Kira do anyway. And they ride there on their bears. So Wes has got his grizzly bear, Kira's got her polar bear. And they ride in, and Thomas, as promised, is waiting at the stairs to nowhere. And once he sees us, he taps his spear on the ground and opens a portal at the top of the stairs. And he says, "Oh, well, you should probably meet the director if you're going to be going on this journey with us."
Oh my god.
The frickin' director walks in.
Through the portal.
Through the portal, wearing like a 3-piece suit, like a dapper frickin' outfit.
Like our 3-piece suit in like a fantasy world. Just what?
And we're like, this is weird. What is this outfit? And it's Jerem. Jerem is the director, the merchant who united all of our first characters, who Rue and Wes stole the ring from. He just keeps popping up, and he's the freaking director of this. So yeah, full circle. So now time passes, and wait, you should say this part because this is you. So we walk through the portal, go do our thing. That's the last you see of us. Time passes.
Oh, time, right. I was just like, wait, we ended it there. Oh no, we didn't. Some time passes, and I don't want to get into like detail here, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm a mythic character. I'm probably the most powerful person on the planet right now, and I'm pretty sure I can deal or like go around like Yanis, because Yanis was like really strong when we first started, but now I'm pretty sure we like passed them, like all of them. Anyway, some time passes, and you see a cloaked figure enter a cave in the far north. He enters the cave, and he passes by the bones of wolves in front of a door. And as he enters the door, he goes down the hallway, this huge, gigantic hallway. Murals depict on the wall about the story of a titan, Thanatos. Reaching the end of the hallway, he takes the elevator down, activating it with a drop of blood, and as the elevator makes its way down to the bottom, he proceeds to get off. The glow of volcanic lava is emitting from the entrance, and he enters the lava chamber at the foot of this enormous titan that is all chained up. Pulling back his hood, it's Grim, and he addresses Thanatos. And he says, "It looks like your Geas has lost its effect, but I assume that you still want this." And he pulls out the Eye of Ashes, or the Orb of Ashes. I do not. I will make a deal for you. Deal with you. For it. Thanatos rumbles, and it's deafening as he moves within his chains, and humors. He says, "I'll humor you. What do you wish, mortal?" And Grim says, "Give me back what the old gods have taken." And then that's it. And if you don't remember, each of us had to give up something, had to sacrifice something to find the source, Lysandra. All for Lysandra, to stop Lysandra. As a sacrifice to the old gods. Kira lost her fondest memory of her father. Wes lost his very first bow. Thomas lost his locket. Rokor lost his oath or will to protect Kira. And Grim lost his scythe.
Yeah.
That's very important to him. So essentially, and most of you knew what it was, but essentially, Grim is asking for his mother back with Thanatos' help. So, there it is. Yeah, but that was our last Pathfinder session. Wraithborn is up.